Did you think you could make it on your own?
I really didn't.
Why not?
Just from working with my dad at the business and failing so miserably, and really in tennis not ever reaching the levels that we had set for me. In school, I felt completely inadequate. I was not anywhere near as smart as the kids at Princeton, and I could not do their work. I just really felt like I was way, way below what my dad could do. He did things sort of by magic, and I struggled at the slightest thing. And he saw that, and we would talk about that and the different flaws and weaknesses and work on them. But I never really got to a point where I felt comfortable saying, "Hey, Dad, let me do this."
Did you spend a lot of time talking with your dad about your flaws and weaknesses?
We talked about them, yeah, very regularly.
How much time did you spend talking about your strengths?
We didn't really talk about strengths, except in tennis. I had some strengths, and we would try to pattern my game around that. But in life, I was pretty much weak and oversensitive, in his opinion, just the whole thing with my girlfriends. And, like with Christy, I was going to keep the baby and marry her. And these things were just stunning to him, that I could be so stupid as to throw my life away on things like that could be corrected. So, I continually had these problems, and we talked about them regularly. And I sort of agreed that I was going to have a hard time in the future, because I was never going to be able to control the business meetings anywhere near the way he did. I don't think I could inspire people the way he could, and control them and get them to focus on what he wanted. He was something brilliant.
And were you something brilliant?
No, I wanted to think that, and there were times when he told me that I was.
So there were times he told you were brilliant?
Mm-hmm.
Very often?
No, I really remember one time at my Aunt Terry's, when we had a big, long conversation about these issues, and about the fact that I could never be what he wanted, and I could never be as good as he could. Even if somehow I managed to get all these qualities and do what he did, I still wouldn't have started from the same place. I would have started at a school like Princeton, not an immigrant with nothing. And so I talked to him about coping with that.
And this talk at your Aunt Terry's, when was this?
This was in spring of '89, around Easter.
And were some decisions made about your future at that time, in terms of what the expectations were?
Yeah, we made a lot of decisions in that conversation in the basement.
How long did that last, that conversation?
A few hours, like 3 hours.
This is spring of '89, so you're 21?
Right.
And you said some decisions were made?
Yes.
Is this about your future?
Yes.
And who made these decisions?
My dad made them after discussions with me as to what he felt I could handle. I wanted to transfer out of the school.
Out of Princeton?
Yes.
Into what school?
University of Pennsylvania.
Why did you want to transfer?
Or even UCLA, some school that had business courses. I felt I was really floundering at Princeton to some degree, at least with the grade level that my dad wanted me to get. I couldn't get that. And also I felt, like I had said, that I really was inadequate to do what my dad was doing, and it was making me nervous that I was sort of getting older, and a time would come when he would really press me to take on responsibilities, and I didn't know how I was going to learn these things. And I figured, you know, Princeton has no business courses whatsoever. It's not a trade school in that way, and this University of Pennsylvania or UCLA had the courses, small business courses, corporate courses, things that I could get a grasp of, learn something. So I talked to my dad about that it might be a good idea for me to switch, just feeling very insecure about myself, and basically came to an arrangement. I had always thought I was going to graduate school, and he had decided that I wasn't going to go to graduate school anymore, so I didn't need to get the same grades. That all I had to do was pass and get the degree and meet people and, you know, get the contacts. And that was all he wanted out of me for the school. And I could concentrate on my tennis there if I wanted. And so we basically made that deal, and then he in turn would guide me, take care of the business end. And he obviously had money, and he said he was going to have a great deal more money in the future, and he'd be able to finance any business I wanted after I graduated if we wanted to start me out in business before I go into politics. And he hadn't quite worked it out, but basically told me not to worry about it at school, just pass.
Well, did you feel when you got out of school you were going to be capable of doing these things on your own, or you were
I
gonna
didn't, but
were you going to be dependent on him?
I would be dependent on him to a great extent. He kept telling me that business was easy and that it was simple and you just had to go about it a certain way, and that he would teach me later on that I shouldn't be concerned with it now. And so I accepted that.
Okay. Let's go back. We were talking about your relationship with Donovan. After you had the